Movie Review Sesh. Hello and welcome to Movie Review Sesh. I'm Sam.
I'm Will.
And today we're going to be talking about a movie that is dead, Babylon. And we're going to talk about it because nobody else has talked about it.
Not at all.
So we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
I think what we have here in Hollywood is high art. It's
Party time! Sparkle time! If you
Sam,
could go anywhere.
what did you think of Babylon?
I thought Babylon was one of the better movies of 2022. It was definitely one of my favorite. It's about when sound became prevalent in the film industry in the late 20s, early 30s. And I learned about all that stuff in school. So it was right up my alley. I never saw La La Land. I've seen Whiplash, which Damien Chazelle also did.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Rushing or dragging?
Rushing.
So you do know the difference. If you deliberately sabotage my band, I will fuck you like a pig.
One of the reasons I skipped La La Land was, even though I love Ryan Gosling, I love Emma Stone, I love Damien Chazelle, it seemed to fantasize or glorify the Hollywood idea of like, oh, I'm gonna go follow my Hollywood dreams, and Babylon definitely taps into the darker aspects of Hollywood, which is also right up my alley.
And like you said, I've seen La La Land and I've seen Whiplash, but especially La La Land, it kind of romanticizes this idea of Hollywood, what you can become, and there's a happy ending. They both become successful in endeavors that feel true to them as characters and what they believe in.
Yeah.
This, on the other hand, does not do that. It gives you more realistic endings for more realistic characters.
Every character in this movie has a satisfying ending from a character standpoint. And the movie's like 3 hours, and the runtime just kind of flies by you.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt the same way. I recently saw Avatar: The Way of Water, which is also a 3-hour plus extravaganza. I definitely felt more with this, kind of just overall enthralled with the story. Mm-hmm. If I didn't want to spoil too much, I didn't want to say too much about the narrative, but I wanted to get somebody hooked on this film. Mm-hmm. I would describe it as an experience, a ride, a journey. You're hooked in the beginning with this extravagant, just excess party scene that introduces the three titular characters, and from there you get to see their individual stories and also how they interweave to connect to each other. Mm-hmm. And all of it's done brilliantly. Mm-hmm. Damien Chazelle, he's got a very diverse portfolio of films.
One thing that seems to be pretty consistent in his movies is the use of music.
Yes, definitely.
He loves that swing music, jazz music, and that was one of the more memorable things of this movie for me was the music, which like most of the time, you go see movies and you don't even remember the score. It's just kind of background. It doesn't really stand out, but here the music really takes a front seat in a lot of portions of the movie. And it kind of rejuvenates it, gives it a little adrenaline. And that's what I would describe a lot of the heavy music scenes as, is like an adrenaline shot. And then you kind of have these slower moments with the characters where you get to understand the characters, their headspace, where they're at.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kickstart.
Morning.
We talked about how it's a long movie. That's objectively true. But it doesn't feel like that because of these moments where the score comes in and you're riding along with the character as they traverse whatever struggle, or not even a struggle. Sometimes it's, you see what they're enjoying, their glimpses of success. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the music helps elevate those emotions.
You mentioned the runtime, it being a super long movie. The movie's 3 hours and 9 minutes, including credits. So without credits, that's about 3 hours. But I feel like that the movie almost needs that long runtime because it's like a huge Hollywood epic. It's like a Godfather type movie where it's just got this long, sprawling narrative with these characters that all interweave. And it's about Hollywood, and it's about excess and, success when you rise up in the industry, and then the downfall.
Babylon is about a group of people who find themselves in early Hollywood at a time of extreme depravity and debauchery and excess.
Who was your favorite performance of the movie?
I'd have to give it to Brad Pitt. He added a layer to this character that maybe another actor wouldn't have conveyed.
I can't help but wonder, don't we have a higher calling?
Brad Pitt's character reminded me of a lot of Leo's from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because in Babylon, Brad Pitt is struggling to make the jump from silent films to sound films, and in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leo is having trouble jumping from TV cowboy to movie star.
Let me tell you something. You don't get these lines right, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out tonight. All right? Your brains are gonna be splattered all over your goddamn pool. I mean it, motherfucker. Get your shit together.
I'd say there was a lot of parallels between this film and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I can't say whether or not that was intentional on behalf of the director, or if it was just kind of like a symptom of creating a film that centers around this topic, these themes, and this era.
They're totally different movies, but they just both take place in Hollywood, and they're about the industry and a time of change in an industry, and all the different, you know, styles that the movie throws in there. Like you get some 4x3, you get some old 8mm film prints. I know the movie's shot on 35mm, which is another reason why it looked gorgeous.
Yeah, just it's a solid love letter to film history and just the film genre and just film itself. It's very self-referential at times to like this theme of like how good movies are for the general public and like what they accomplish and what they represent. But none of that feels overly preachy.
You know what we have to do? We have to redefine the form. Map those dreams and print them into history. Look up and say, Eureka! I am not alone.
Chazelle didn't come off as preachy in this because the end, where it's kind of a love letter to, where it's just like a montage of all these great movies. There's The Matrix, Jurassic World, and he put Avatar in there. So it's nice to see that even though Chazelle is making this type of movie, he can appreciate a totally different type of movie.
And it's unfortunate that they both released during the same time period of December of 2022.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons this movie just got fucking buried. It definitely has its messages and themes. It has a lot to say. It's very excessive, which goes along with the themes of the movie. I know a lot of people have said it's very in your face, and I can see that for sure. But with the theme of the movie being excess, I was perfectly fine with it, and it took a big swing, and I appreciated it for that.
You know, like you mentioned it earlier, and you just mentioned it now, excess being a main theme. So then that when the film itself was a bit excessive and a bit grand in what it was showing us as the audience, I was able to forgive it for those moments.
And they're not just excessive things in there for the sake of it. Like we said, the main theme of the movie is excess, so it's all in service of the story. If I were to compare it to another movie, I would also probably say Wolf of Wall Street, where that's also mainly about excess and, you know, a rise and fall, and a lot of movies to compare this to. But yeah, it definitely stands on its own and has its own unique voice without feeling like a ripoff of other movies about excess like Wolf of Wall Street, or other movies about the industry like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, while there are parallels that you can find if you seek them out, and there's a lot of comparisons to be made, as we've mentioned, it definitely stands on its own and is a movie that I thoroughly recommend. I mean, going into it, I was a little worried about the 3-hour long runtime.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned. I was like, I just went through Avatar. I'm not sure if I could do this a few times in a row. These are the most recent movies I've seen in theater. But you really just get invested with that first scene.
You just get swept up.
It's sad to see a movie that takes such, you know, individuality and uniqueness and puts it itself out there for you to view in its entirety without censoring itself. It's sad to see that not succeed.
Yeah, like I said, it had an $80 million budget, and it made, I think, $15 million. It's the Anthony Mackie video I was showing you earlier, where it's like,
there are no movie stars anymore. Like Anthony Mackie isn't a movie star. The Falcon is a movie star. So the evolution of the superhero has meant the death of the movie star. And that's the fear now, because you're now making movies for 16-year-olds and China.
Today, there's two directors that can get a movie made based off their name, and that's Quentin Tarantino and Jordan Peele. When the movie is marketed, it is marketed as the ninth film from Quentin Tarantino, from the brilliant mind of Jordan Peele.
From Get Out.
Yes, exactly. Tobey Maguire was fantastic in this movie, and it's also nice to see him because I think he did a movie in 2014. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like his last movie until he did Spider-Man No Way Home last year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid actor, and from the moment you see him and he begins to speak, you are swept up in the narrative, that subplot that he guides. He steals the show. He plays this creepy, kind of degenerate mob boss.
It's also a very different character for Tobey Maguire to be playing, and especially his version of Peter Parker is more the soft-spoken version of the three. Tom and Andrew are a little more talky with their versions, so seeing him go from that, like a year ago, from the, older and wiser, more soft-spoken Peter Parker.
Gotta cure all of them, right?
To James McKay, mob boss casino owner who likes to go to underground clubs and watch behemoths of men eat live rats.
More! Eat another rat!
It's a departure that I fully support. You have Toby, I know you're listening. I support you 100%. Like, whatever path it took you to get this role and perform the way you did, it was worth it.
No.
You guys need to back up. I can't see the cars.
Okay, back up, guys. You can't see the cars.
They got the fuck out of the way. I can't see. There are cars there, motherfucker. Get out of the way.
And whatever, apparently it took you to become a producer on it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that until y'all mentioned it after the movie, was that he had a producer credit.
Yeah, and he was the first one. I just imagine that he somehow got a hold of the script and was infatuated with it.
Yeah, I don't know what his connection is to Damien Chazelle, because it's written by Damien Chazelle.
Whether it's researching, writing the screenplay, shooting, he's just extremely ambitious.
I was lucky to have this amazing team help me to get this insane early Hollywood vision onto the screen.
Another theme I wanted to mention was at the beginning of the movie, in the party, an actress dies that has to be on film the next day. And in the party, there's, some people with devil masks, and, there's dirty shit going on. And the gossip columnist writer tells Manny at one point, she refers to the underage girls that are upstairs, and he immediately says, like, oh, I don't speak English. And then they're using an elephant to be brought into the party so they can smuggle out a dead body. So to me, I kind of viewed that as like, hey, there's this huge elephant in the room, but nobody talk about it. Upon going back and rewatching it, there's so much stuff in the details that you just don't notice the first time around. And the stuff in the details is also all in service of the story and the themes of the story, which is just nice when that happens, every once in a while, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure Dungeons and Dragons will follow the same formula.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, all right, you f***os, we'll
catch you in the next one.
We'll see you next time. All right.